The champagne flute slipped from my fingers, shattering against the polished hardwood floor of the banquet hall like a gunshot in the middle of the toast. To Alex and Sarah, may your love conquer all, Coach bellowed, his voice booming over the laughter of my teammates, but I couldn't hear it anymore, not with him standing there across the room, his eyes locking onto mine like a predator spotting prey after years in hiding. Elias Grant, the man who'd unraveled me at 17, the ghost I'd buried under layers of denial and small-town dreams, was clapping slowly, his smile sharp as a knife's edge, and in that instant, the life I'd built cracked wide open. I'd spent the last decade convincing myself it was all a phase, a boarding school fever dream fueled by too many late-night confessions and the isolation of those New England winters. Sarah was real, her laugh like summer rain, her hands steady in mine as we planned this wedding. This banquet doubling as a send-off for the championship team I'd led to glory. But now, with Elias here, uninvited and unavoidable, the room spun, the fairy lights blurring into stars that mocked my carefully scripted happily ever after. My name is Alex Harper, and up until that glass hit the floor, I was the golden boy of Elmwood High's football squad, quarterback extraordinaire, future husband to the girl next door, and a guy who'd traded his secrets for touchdowns and tailgates. The banquet hall in downtown Nashville hummed with the low roar of celebration. Clinking glasses, bursts of laughter from the offensive line recounting that fumbled Hail Mary we'd somehow turned into a win, and Sarah's soft voice beside me, whispering, "Babe, you okay? You look like you saw a ghost." She squeezed my arm, her diamond ring catching the light like a promise I wasn't sure I could keep anymore. I forced a nod, mumbling something about the open bar hitting too hard, but my eyes betrayed me, darting back to him. Elias hadn't aged a day. Still that chiseled jaw framed by salt and pepper waves, those piercing blue eyes that could dissect a soul with one glance. He was in a tailored navy suit, leaning against the bar with the casual authority of a man who owned every room he entered, chatting up the assistant coach like he belonged, which, in a twisted way, he did. He'd been my mentor back at Hawthorne Prep, the elite boarding school in Vermont where I'd shipped off at 15, fleeing the wreckage of my parents' divorce and the suffocating expectations of my Tennessee roots. Hawthorne was a pressure cooker of ivy-covered stone and whispered scandals, where rich kids like me learned to navigate the world with silver spoons and sharper knives. I'd arrived broken, lanky, and lost, my duffel bag stuffed with faded photos of Mama's fried chicken sundaes and Daddy's truck that smelled like motor oil and regret. Football was my ticket in, scholarship kid among the trust funders, but it was Elias who pulled me from the fringes. He was the English lit teacher, 32 and fresh from Yale, with a reputation for turning delinquents into poets. "Words are weapons, Alex," he'd say, his voice like gravel wrapped in velvet. "Wield them right, and you can rewrite your whole damn story." Our first real conversation happened in the library after curfew, rain lashing the windows like it was trying to drown out the world. I'd snuck in to escape the dorm pranks, nursing a bruised ego from a scrimmage loss. He found me hunched over Hemingway, pretending to read. "For whom the bell tolls. Bold choice for a quarterback," he quipped, sliding into the chair opposite. Up close, he smelled like old books and pine, a scent that hit me harder than any blindside tackle. We talked for hours that night, about the ache of feeling like an outsider, the weight of fathers who saw you as a legacy instead of a son. He shared stories of his own boarding school days, the boy he'd loved in secret who shattered him by choosing the right path. "Love isn't a choice, Alex. It's a force, and it doesn't care about your playbook." His words lingered, warm and dangerous, seeding doubts I didn't know I had. By sophomore year, Elias had become my North Star. Study sessions bled into midnight walks along the frozen lake, where the ice cracked like laughter under our boots. He'd challenge me, recite Whitman under the stars, debate the ethics of Gatsby's green light. I soaked it up, blooming under his gaze, my throws on the field gaining precision, my grades soaring. But it was more than mentorship. It was the way his hand brushed mine when passing a book, the pause in his breath when our eyes met too long. I was falling, hard and uncharted, into something that terrified and thrilled me. The team banquet flash-forwarded in my mind as Sarah tugged me toward the dance floor, oblivious to the storm brewing. "Come on, hero, dance with your bride," she teased, her sundress swirling like petals in the breeze. The band struck up a country cover of Wonderwall, and for a moment, I let her lead, twirling her under the chandeliers that dripped light like honey. She was everything safe. The girl who'd bandaged my knees after Pee-wee games, who dreamed of a porch swing and kids with my eyes. We'd met at a bonfire my junior year, her laughter cutting through the smoke like a beacon. "You're gonna be somebody, Alex Harper," she'd said. And I'd believed her because believing was easier than questioning. But Elias's presence clawed at the edges. How had he even found out? The invitation list was tight: team, family, a few locals. Maybe Coach mentioned it in passing. Elias had ties to Hawthorne alumni networks that spiderwebbed across the South. Or worse, he'd come hunting. The thought sent a shiver down my spine, not entirely unwelcome. As the song faded, I excused myself for air, weaving through clusters of well-wishers slapping my back with congratulations. The hotel's balcony overlooked the Cumberland River, its waters glittering under the Nashville skyline, a far cry from Hawthorne's stark winters. I gripped the railing, breath fogging in the crisp December air. Wait. No, it was June, humid and thick, but my mind was back in Vermont, snow blanketing the pines. That first winter break, I'd stayed on campus, too broke and bitter to fly home. Elias had too. Family estrangement, he called it, though the pain in his voice said more. We built a fort in his office with blankets and space heaters, devouring takeout lo mein and arguing over frosts the road not taken. "It's not about regret," he insisted, his knee pressing against mine under the desk. "It's about owning the path you choose." Our faces were inches apart, the air electric, and then nothing. He pulled back, clearing his throat. "Get some sleep, kid. Big game tomorrow." I didn't sleep. I replayed it, the almost touch, the way his eyes darkened. By spring, the tension simmered. Practice runs turned into jogs together, his encouragement a low rumble that made my pulse race faster than sprints. One evening, after a brutal loss, I found him in the empty gym, shooting hoops in the dim light. "You're better than this," he said, tossing me the ball. We played HORC until sweat soaked our shirts, the slap of leather echoing like heartbeats. On the fifth shot, I sank it from half-court, whooping in triumph. He grabbed me in a bear hug, lifting me off the ground, and time stopped. His stubble grazed my cheek, his laugh vibrating through me. "Proud of you, Alex." We froze like that, the world narrowing to the heat between us. Then his lips brushed my temple. Not quite a kiss, but close enough to ignite. I pulled away first, mumbling thanks, fleeing to the showers where cold water did nothing to douse the fire. That night, in my bunk, I touched myself thinking of him, guilt twisting like a knife. What was this? Wrong? Impossible? But it felt like coming home. Back on the balcony, the door creaked open behind me. "Alex!" Sarah's voice, soft and searching. I turned, plastering on a smile. "Just needed a breather. Wedding jitters, you know?" She stepped close, wrapping her arms around my waist. "We've got this. You and me against the world." Her head on my shoulder, I held her tight, inhaling her vanilla scent. She deserved the world, not this fractured man staring down a chasm. Inside, the party raged on. I scanned for him. Gone? No, there, by the dessert table, sampling a slice of pecan pie with that infuriating poise. Our eyes met again, and he raised his glass, a silent toast that said, "We need to talk." The night dragged, toasts blending into slow dances, until Sarah was pulled away by her sorority sisters for photos. I made my escape to the restroom, splashing water on my face, staring at the mirror like it held answers. The door swung open, and there he was. "Elias?" I breathed, the name tasting like forbidden fruit. "Alex." His voice, deeper now, laced with something unreadable. "Congrats on the ring. And the win. You're living the dream." I laughed, bitter and sharp. "Dream? This is a nightmare waiting to happen." He stepped closer, the sink between us a flimsy barrier. "Then why are you running toward it?" Because it's safe, I whispered, the truth spilling out like the champagne earlier. Because loving you would have destroyed me. His face crumpled, just for a second, before the mask slipped back. Destroyed? Or set free? The question hung heavy as the humid air. Before I could answer, voices echoed down the hall. Teammates, rowdy and closing in. He backed away, nodding toward the door. Find me later. Room 412. We finished this conversation. I nodded, heart hammering, as he vanished into the crowd. The groom had frozen, all right. Now the thaw was coming whether I wanted it or not. Sleep evaded me that night like a fumbled snap. Sarah snored softly beside me in our hotel suite. Her curls splayed across the pillow like a halo, while I paced the balcony in boxers and a tee, the city lights mocking my turmoil. Elias's room was just down the hall. 412. A siren's call etched in my brain. What would I even say? Hey, remember when you almost kissed me and I pretended it never happened? Yeah, about that. Dawn crept in, painting the sky bruised purple, and I slipped out for a run along the river path. Nashville stirred slow on Sundays. Joggers in neon, food trucks firing up biscuits and gravy, the faint twang of a busker's guitar floating on the breeze. My legs burned, lungs gasping, but it couldn't outpace the memories crashing like waves. Junior year at Hawthorne ramped up the intensity. Elias pulled strings to get me into advanced lit, where we dissected Bronte and Baldwin, his lectures a masterclass in subtext. James Baldwin knew love's cost, he'd say, eyes flicking to mine. The fire that consumes, the silence that strangles. Classmates snickered at the gay-lit vibes, but I hung on every word, scribbling notes that doubled as love letters. Off hours, we carved out stolen moments. He'd tutor me in the boathouse, the lake lapping rhythmic against the docks, our knees touching under the scarred wooden table. Once, during a thunderstorm, power out and candles flickering, he read aloud from Giovanni's room, his voice cracking on the lines about hidden desires. You ever feel like that, Alex? Like you're drowning in what you can't say? I swallowed hard, staring at the rain-streaked window. Every day. He reached across, his fingers lacing with mine. Just once, tentative. The touch was electric, a spark that lit fuses I'd long ignored. We didn't speak of it after, but the air shifted, charged with possibility. Practices became excuses to linger. I'd feign cramps, and he'd walk me back, our shoulders brushing in the dusk. Summer before senior year, I went home to Tennessee, but Elias stayed in my head like a persistent echo. Letters arrived, postmarked Vermont, typed on his old Underwood, filled with book recommendations and cryptic quotes. The heart wants what it wants or else it does not care. I'd hide them in my sock drawer, rereading by flashlight, my body aching with confusion. Back at Hawthorne, things escalated. The homecoming game was a bloodbath. We crushed the rival prep, me throwing 3 TDs under the floodlights. Locker room high-fives turned to backslaps, steam rising from the showers like victory fog. Elias waited outside, officially to congratulate the team, but his eyes sought mine. Epic Harper. Knew you had it in you. We ended up at the after-party in the faculty lounge. Booze smuggled in by seniors, faculty turning blind eyes. I nursed a beer, Buzz Light, when he pulled me aside to the patio, stars wheeling overhead. You were poetry out there, he said, clinking his flask to my bottle. The whiskey burned sweet, loosening tongues. Tell me about him, I blurted. The boy from his stories, the one who'd broken him. Elias leaned on the railing, gaze distant. We were 18, summer stock theater in the Berkshires. He was the lead, I the stagehand. One night, after curtain, he kissed me in the wings. Said it was real, that we'd run away after graduation. He paused, voice rough. Graduation came. He went Ivy, married the dean's daughter. Last I heard, he's a senator now, preaching family values. The parallel hit like a sack from behind. And you? You regret it? Never. His eyes met mine, fierce. Regrets for cowards. I loved him fully, no half measures. That's the only way. My heart thundered. What if? What if it's not that simple? What if loving someone means losing everything? He stepped closer, the party noise fading. Then you fight for it, or you let it go clean. His hand cupped my jaw, thumb tracing my lip. A question, not a demand. Time fractured. I leaned in, our mouths meeting soft, tentative, then hungry. It was salt and whiskey and years of waiting. His fingers tangling in my hair, my hands fisting his shirt. The world tilted, righted itself in that kiss. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed. Alex, he murmured. This? I know. I cut in, panic rising. Footsteps approached. Another teacher, calling his name. We sprang apart, casual as strangers, but the die was cast. That fall blurred into a secret rhythm. Stolen kisses in his office after hours, hands exploring in the shadows of the auditorium. He was gentle, reverent, teaching me with whispers and touches that love was maps drawn on skin. But guilt gnawed. Sarah's letters from home, innocent and adoring. The team's bro code ribbing about landing a cheerleader. Elias sensed it, pulling back during parents' weekend. We can't, not like this. You're 17. I swore an oath. It doesn't feel wrong, I pleaded, cornering him in the stacks. It is, he said, voice breaking. Not because of who we are, but because of when. Go live, Alex. Find the boy who deserves your whole heart, not pieces. I stormed out, slamming the library door, the echo chasing me through snow-dusted quad. For weeks, radio silence. I threw myself into football, scouts circling like vultures. Senior prank night, I got wasted on spiked punch, ending up in his office at 2 a.m., tears hot. Don't make me choose, I sobbed. He held me, no more, just arms around shaking shoulders. You already have. The world's bigger than us. Graduation came swift, diploma in hand, scholarship to Vanderbilt locked. Elias shook my hand formal at the ceremony, his eyes saying goodbye. I left without looking back, burying him under bus rides south, fall camp drills, and Sarah's first awkward date at Cracker Barrel. Now, miles and years away, his room number burned. Back in the suite, Sarah stirred as I showered, the hot water doing little to wash away the past. Big day tomorrow, final fittings. She yawned over coffee, oblivious. Mom's flying in. Can't wait to see you in that tux. I kissed her forehead, tasting ash. Me too. The morning dragged. Brunch with the team, where coach cornered me about Elias. Old Hawthorne buddy of mine. Heard he was in town for a conference. Invited him last minute. Figured you'd appreciate the nostalgia. Nostalgia, right? I nodded through gritted teeth, excusing myself for the lobby. Elevator to 4, heart in throat. Door 412 loomed, knuckles hovering before knocking. He opened shirtless, towel slung low, fresh from shower, hair damp. Alex, not surprised like he'd known. We need to talk, I said, stepping in before sense caught up. The room smelled like him, pine and pages. He closed the door soft, facing me arms crossed. About the wedding? Or us? Both. I paced, words tumbling. Why now? Why show up and upend everything? You think I planned this? Hurt flashed. Conference on Lit Pedagogy, Nashville's got a big one. Saw the invite on coach's desk, pure chance. But seeing you, God, Alex, you look good. Grown. Flattery twisted the knife. I'm getting married. Tomorrow. I know. He sank onto the bed, head in hands. That's why I came. To say goodbye proper this time. Air left the room. Goodbye? After I ruined you? He looked up, eyes raw. I crossed every line. Mentor to lover, it's power imbalance. Textbook wrong. I stopped it for you, not me. Bullshit. Anger surged. You stopped because you were scared. Of losing your job, your life. Damn right I was. He stood, closing distance. But mostly of breaking you. You had the world ahead, NFL dreams, normalcy. I couldn't steal that. I laughed, hollow. Normalcy? This? Gesturing vague at the invisible ring, the life. Sarah's great, but it's a script. Safe lines, no ad-libs. then rewrite it. His hand on my arm, warm anchor. Before vows lock you in. The pull was magnetic, bodies inches apart. I could lean in, taste the past, consequences be damned. But Sarah's face flashed, her trust, our history. I stepped back. Too late. Vows are tomorrow. He nodded, resigned. Then go. Be happy. I fled, door clicking shut like a cell. Back in the hall, phone buzzed. Sarah. Miss you already. Love you forever. Forever. The word choked. Afternoon blurred. Tux fitting. Where the mirror showed a stranger in black tie, handsome and hollow. Rehearsal dinner at a honky-tonk. Fiddles wailing as family toasted. Mama teared up, hugging tight. Proud of you, sugar. My boys all grown. Elias didn't show. Relief? Disappointment? The whiskey helped neither. Night fell. Bachelor party at a sports bar, beers flowing, stories raunchy. Teammates dragged out old photos, including one from Hawthorne. Me, gangly, arm around Elias post-win. Who's the silver fox? Jake hooted. English teacher. I muttered. Saved my ass on essays. They ribbed, but it stuck, the photo a talisman. Midnight, alone in the suite again, I pulled it up on my phone. Elias's face, younger, smiling proud. Fingers hovered over 412 speed dial. No, I deleted it years ago. But the pull. Screw it. I texted from a blocked number. Can't sleep. Balcony? Dots danced. Then, 10 minutes. Moon silvered the river as he appeared. Casual in jeans and Henley, hands in pockets. We leaned on the rail, silence thick. Regret it? I asked finally. Us. Every day I don't. He sighed. You. Every choice after. He turned, face earnest. Alex, love isn't boarding school. This messy, adult. If it's Sarah, own it. But if it's you. The admission burst free, dam breaking. Always was. His smile broke slow, sunrise after storm. He pulled me close, hug chaste but deep, chins on shoulders. Then what now? Now? I don't know. Dawn edged the horizon, wedding bells tolling invisible. But I can't walk down that aisle. The decision settled, light as absolution. Sarah would hurt, God, the betrayal, but truth was the only mercy. Elias nodded, grip tightening. Whatever comes, I'm here. We stood like that, two men against the dawn, the river whispering secrets. The groom had thawed, and the real story was just beginning. The morning of the wedding dawned brutal, sunlight stabbing through the sweet blinds like accusatory fingers. Sarah was already up, humming as she zipped her makeup bag, her robe slipping off one shoulder to reveal the constellation of freckles I used to trace like stars. Today's the day, Alex. Can you believe it? Her excitement was a blade, twisting deeper with every grin. I sat on the bed's edge, Tux laid out like a shroud, phone clutched white-knuckled. No sleep, just replays of Elias's arms around me. The solid reality of him after years as Spectre. Yeah, I croaked. Unreal. She paused, mascara wand midair. You sure you're okay? You've been off since the banquet. Guilt flooded, hot and immediate. Just nerves. Big day. She crossed to me, kneeling, hands on my knees. Hey, we're in this together. Remember our pact? No secrets, no doubts. The lie lodged in my throat. Our pact, forged over late-night drives to Chattanooga overlooks, promising transparency in a world of facades. I'd broken it the day I left Hawthorne, packing away Elias like winter clothes. Now unpacking meant unraveling her world too. I love you, I said, meaning it in fragments. The friendship, the comfort, the life we'd sketched. But not the fire, not the soul-deep pull. Love you more. She kissed me soft, lingering, and I let her, memorizing the taste for the goodbye it heralded. The ceremony loomed at 4 p.m. in a Vanderbilt chapel, Gothic arches and stained glass filtering light into rainbows. Ironic, given the closet I was cracking open. Family arrived in waves. Mama fussing over boutonnieres, Daddy clapping my shoulder with gruff, proud, son. His eyes wet behind aviators. Sarah's folks, pillars of Nashville society, air-kissing cheeks. By noon, the Groom sweet-buzzed, teammates in cummerbunds, popping corks on non-alcoholic bubbly. Coach pulled me aside, breath minty with nerves. Son, marriage is like a season. Highs, lows, but team effort. You two got this. Team effort. The word soured. Where was my team when I needed plays for this fumble? Jake sidled up, slinging an arm. Dude, after this Vegas strip clubs all-nighters. Groom's privilege. I forced a laugh, stomach churning. Pass. Early flight to Maui. Polynesian paradise, our honeymoon. Booked months ago, deposits non-refundable. Now it loomed like exile. At 2, solitude in the vestry. Mirror reflecting tails and tie, hair gelled just so. I looked every inch the all-American dream, but inside, fault lines spiderwebbed. Phone vibrated, Elias. Outside. Green truck, east lot. If you need an out. The out. Temptation incarnate. I typed back. Need you here. Chapel steps? On way. Minutes later, he appeared in the arched doorway. Suit from last night rumpled. Face etched with the same sleepless shadows. Alex! Shoo! I pulled him into the alcove, hearts sinking in panic. I can't do it. Walk out there, say I do to a lie. He cupped my face, thumbs brushing tears I hadn't noticed. Then don't. Call it off. She deserves truth. You deserve peace. But the hurt. Visions assaulted. Sarah in white, veil askew. Eyes shattered as guests murmur. Mama's disappointment, Daddy's silence. The team's whispers turning to outright scorn. Hurt fades, Elias said firm. Lies fester. I've lived both, choose life. Life. The word ignited. I nodded, resolve hardening. Help me. We plotted swift. I'd stall in the vestry. Send Jake to fetch Sarah for a private word. Elias would linger outside, engine running for getaway if needed. No dramatic bolt mid-vows. Better a quiet unraveling than spectacle. Jake returned flushed. She's coming. Everything cool? Yeah, just pre-game jitters. He bought it, clapping my back before vanishing. Sarah entered radiant, gown hugging like second skin, lilies in hand. You summoned Mr. Harper? I took her hands, guiding her to the settee. The words rehearsed 1,000 times in the shower's steam. Sarah, sit. We need to talk. Her brow furrowed, playful fading. What's wrong? Everything. Breath steady. It's not right. Not for me. Confusion creased her face. What? Alex, talk to me. I'm gay. The confession landed flat, years compressed into syllables. Have been since. Forever. I thought I could push it down, be the guy you need. But I can't. It's not fair to you. Silence stretched, eternal. Her eyes searched mine, then welled. The banquet. That man, Elias. I nodded, shame burning. Old friend. More than. Seeing him. Woke everything up. She pulled hands away, not angry. Wounded. Like a child learning the tooth fairy's a myth. All this time? The dates, the promises. I meant them. The love, just not the way you deserve. Tears tracked now, mutual. You're my best friend. Always will be. But marriage? No. She stood, gown whispering, pacing the narrow space. I knew something was off. The distance lately, the looks. But gay? God? Alex. A sob escaped, raw. I love you. Thought we were endgame. You are. For someone. I rose, aching to hold her, but space was mercy. Find him. The one who sees you whole. Footsteps echoed outside. Organ swelling. Guest settling. Her maid of honor knocked tentative. Sarah? Places. She wiped face, stealing. Give us 5. Door clicked shut. She faced me, resolve mirroring mine. Go. Before I change my mind and drag you out there. Sarah. No goodbyes. Not yet. She hugged me fierce, perfume clinging like regret. Call when the dust settles. We'll figure friends. I nodded, throat tight, slipping out the side door as she squared shoulders for the altar. alone. Outside, Nashville baked under June sun, azaleas blooming defiant. Elias waited by the truck, a battered Ford from his academic nomad days, leaning casual but eyes scanning desperate. "Done?" he asked, voice pitched low. "Yeah." Exhale shaky. "Told her. She's handling." He pulled me into the cab, door slamming final. Engine roared to life, tires crunching gravel as we peeled from the lot, chapel shrinking in the rearview. No pursuit, just the open road south, Memphis bound, or wherever whim led. Adrenaline crashed halfway to the state line, words spilling in torrents. I recounted the vestry, her grace in grief. "Feel like the villain." "You're the hero," he countered. Hand on my thigh, anchor, not advance. Took the hit to spare her worse. We stopped at a roadside diner, neon flickering, open 24/7. Ordering burgers and cokes like fugitives. Booths sticky with history, jukebox crooning Patsy Cline. "Crazy," I muttered, ketchup packet tearing uneven. "Sanity's overrated." He smiled, first real one, crinkles deepening. "Welcome to Act 2. Act 2. The phrase sparked possibility. Over fries, we sketched futures. I'd coach at a community college, channel the quarterback fire into kids like me, lost boys finding footing. He'd tenure track somewhere warm, maybe Austin, blending lit and life. But us, I ventured, fry dangling forgotten. Us. He leaned across, kiss light as promise. Peanut butter and hope. Slow, real, no shadows. Back on I-40, windows down, wind whipping confessions free. My phone exploded. Text from Mama, "Where you?" "Daddy? Son? Call home." "Jake, WTF man, Sarah's a wreck." I silenced it. One message to Sarah. "I'm sorry. Free now. Love always." Guilt lingered, but lighter, like shedding soaked gear after a storm. Elias cued Springsteen, Thunder Road. The line about no angels hitting home. We sang off-key, voices blending rough, the highway unspooling like fate's ribbon. Memphis welcomed with blues haze and Beale Street bustle. We crashed at a B&B, separate beds but shared porch swing, stars winking approval. Dawn brought clarity, calls home unavoidable. Mama picked up on first ring, voice steel. "Alexander James Harper, you got some explainin'." I spilled, abbreviated, the truth, the timing, the fallout. Silence, then sobs. "My boy, why didn't you say?" "Scared. Of losing you." "Never." Huff indignant. "God's got plans bigger than weddings. Come home soon, we talk." Daddy grunted later, terse. "Heard. Rough on the girl. But man's gotta live true. Support you, son." Tears pricked. "Thanks, Dad." Sarah's call came last, evening shadows long. "Hey, hey." Awkward, electric. "I'm okay. Mad sad, but free too, in a way." Pause. "Elias, he's good for you?" "Yeah, real." Then hold him tight. "And Alex?" "Friends." Eventually, relief flooded. "Deal." Night deepened, Elias joining on the swing, arm around shoulders. World didn't end. "Better?" I murmured, head on his chest. Heartbeat steady, like a metronome for the life ahead. But peace fractured Monday. Email from Vanderbilt admin. Scholarship rescinded. Conduct unbecoming cited. Whispers from the team leaking fast. Coach called, apologetic. "Sorry, kid. Donors pulling strings. Old money don't like scandals." Gut punch. Football, my anchor, yanked away. Elias found me staring at the screen, jaw clenched. "What now?" "Fight." But tone wavered. "Or pivot." He pulled me up. "You're more than a jersey. Let's go home, Vermont. Fresh snow, fresh starts." Home. The word tugged. Hawthorne's ghosts friendlier now. We packed light, road tripping north. Graceland a detour pilgrimage. Elvis crooning, "Can't Help Falling," ironic anthem. Interstate blurred states, conversations deepening. His Yale heartbreaks, my Tennessee closets. Laughter mixed with ache, building something resilient. Burlington welcomed with Lake Champlain sparkle. Autumn leaves turning early. Elias's cabin, modest A-frame on the outskirts, bookshelves groaning, fireplace crackling invite. Yours while you sort, he said, keys tossed casual. Sort. Job hunts yielded coaching gigs at local high schools. Sidelined but steady. Evenings we cooked, his risotto, my barbecue hacks, talks meandering from Proust to playoffs. One night, fire dying low, he turned serious. Alex, this us. It's not rebound. I straddled his lap, hands framing face. It's return. To me. Kiss deepened, clothes shedding slow, bodies rediscovering like lost languages. Tender, reverent, no rush, just presence. Afterward, tangled sheets, his whisper. Love you, always did. Echoed back, truth sealed. Months folded. Holidays with his estranged sister in Boston. Awkward but thawing. My folks visiting, Mama hugging Elias like long lost, Daddy bonding over fly fishing. Sarah texted sporadically. Dating a barista. Finally a plot twist. Healing mutual. Winter blanketed Vermont, snow muffling doubts. But spring unearthed old wounds. A letter from Hawthorne, alumni board summoning Elias for review. Whispers of our past, ethics breach alleged. Confrontation loomed, the past's long shadow stretching. The letter arrived innocuous, tucked in Elias's campus mailbox like any faculty memo, but its weight bent the envelope, heavy with implications. We were at his office, me crashing study sessions for extra credit in a lit course he guest lectured, when he slid it open, face-draining color. Board wants a meeting. Tomorrow. I snatched it, scanning legalese. Allegations of impropriety during tenure at Hawthorne Prep, 2008 to 2010. Request your presence for clarification. My name nowhere, but the dates screamed us. They're fishing, I said, pulse spiking. Old rumors, probably. Or new. He paced the cramped space, stacks of syllabi toppling. Someone talked, janitor? Rival faculty? If it sticks, tenure's toast. Career over. Blame surged irrational. This is my fault? Digging up ghosts. His halt was abrupt, eyes softening. Ours. But I'd do it again for you. The admission disarmed, pulling me into his arms, desk edge biting hip. Fight it. We fight. He nodded against my hair, but doubt shadowed. That night, cabin fire roared futile against the chill settling. We pored over timelines. Kisses post-dated to after hours, no witnesses, my age legal by summer's end. Paper trails clean, he insisted, but voice wavered. Sleep fragmented, dreams of Hawthorne Hall's echoing accusations. Dawn, he dressed sharp, wool blazer, tie knotted precise, kissing my forehead. Wait here, it'll be fine. I didn't. Drove to the admin building, Burlington's liberal college town ill fit for scandals, parking covert. Boardroom door ajar, voices leaking. Stern woman, Mr. Grant, we value your contributions, but this complaint. Anonymous source claims inappropriate relationship with a minor student. Elias, Comsteel, baseless. Kid was 18 by involvement. Consensual adults. Snorts from gray-haired suits. Perception matters. Optics in academia, especially with your history. History, code for his open queerness, the pride pins on his lanyard. Bigotry veiled, knife sharp. I burst in then, unscripted fury. It's me. The minor. And it was love, not predation. Gasps rippled, head swiveling. Elias's face shock, then fierce pride. Alex, no? Yes. I stood tall, quarterback stance. 17 when it started, sure, but he waited. Taught me to own my truth. Without him, I'd be married miserable, hiding half my soul. Chairwoman blinked, papers shuffling. Mr. Harper, this is irregular. Irregular? Like witch hunts. Heat rose. Elias Grant saved me from isolation, from lies. He's the best educator here, period. Dig deeper. You'll find envy, not evidence. Murmurs swelled. A board member nodding reluctant. Appreciate candor. We'll review. Elias steered me out, hallway echoing our steps. Reckless, he chided, but grin betrayed thrill. Worth it. Adrenaline hummed, post-game high. We're a team, remember? Review dragged weeks, interviews, affidavits from Hawthorne alums vouching character. Sarah even emailed support. Alex is stronger because of Elias. Don't punish integrity. The board cleared him. Insufficient substantiation. But the scar lingered. Wary glances in faculty lounge. Enrollment dips in his classes. We weathered it closer. Cabin nights fortified with wine and wonders. Summer hit humid. Lake days lazy. Canoeing Champlain. Picnics of cheese and crusty bread. One afternoon, beached on Pebble Shore, he traced my tattoo. A subtle compass rose inked post-breakup, pointing true north. What's this for? Fingers circling. You. Simple. Direction when I lost mine. He kissed it, Salt Lake lips. North's mutual. Idle cracked Labor Day. Coach called voice gravel. Harper got a proposition. Nashville's revamping youth league head coach. Full ride. They want you back. Redemption arc. They call it. Temptation nod. Home soil, gridiron's green. A chance to face the fallout head-on. And the scandal? Water under. Sarah vouched. Said you're solid. Sarah. Her grace a lifeline. Elias caught my hesitation evenings, over grilled trout. Go if it calls. I'll visit. But us. Distance loomed. Familiar foe. Airplanes exist. T's light, eyes serious. Or I transfer south. Emery's hiring. Sacrifice unspoken. I mulled nights, stars indifferent. Pros, reclaim narrative, coach kids dodging my old pitfalls. Cons, Tennessee's conservative underbelly, whispers waiting. Decision crystallized mid-October. Bonfire crackling as leaves turned crimson. I'm going. Nashville. He stilled, poker face cracking. Yeah. But not without you. I knelt. Ring box conjured from pocket. Simple platinum band. Engraved, True North. Marry me? Proper this time. No scripts. Shock bloomed to joy, tears glinting. Alex. Yes. God, yes. We laughed, kissed, fireflies winking witness. Planning ensued whirlwind. Small ceremony Christmas Eve, Vermont snow-globed. Invite sparse mama and daddy, his sister Sarah as maid of honor proxy via Zoom. But betrayal brewed subtle. November, Elias's phone buzzed odd hours. Deleted texts, vague colleague excuses. I chalked it to stress, boardroom echoes. Nashville prep ramped. Apartment hunt, league meetings. Coach welcomed warm. Prodigal son. Slapping back. Sarah met for coffee, her new bob chic, barista boyfriend's photo flashing. Thrilled for you. And him. Elias? Thanks. Hesitation. Heard from him lately? She frowned. Text sparse. Work. Gut twisted. That night, cabin empty, he at a conference, Boston. I scrolled his laptop idle, browser history innocuous, but email draft caught. Dear Alex, I can't. Heart stopped. Opened. Dear Alex, I can't pretend anymore. The age gap, the power it haunts. Boarding school was a mistake, and this? Reckless redux. I love you, but we need space. Forgive me. Dated yesterday, unsent. Betrayal iced veins, not rejection but self-sabotage. I confronted via call, voice storm. Found the draft. Running again. Silence crackled. Alex. No. Face it. We're adults. No more ghosts. I'm protecting you. Plea ragged. From what? Happiness. Anger cracked. Or yourself. He returned dawn, suitcase half-packed. Kitchen standoff, coffee brewing bitter. It's not doubt in us. It's fear of becoming the villain in your story. You're not. I bridged gap, hands on chest. That letter? Board cleared you. Past's past. But the optics. Screw optics. Fierce. I choose you. Every day. Tears tracked his face, walls crumbling. Then stay. Fight with me. We did therapy sessions joint, unpacking Hawthorne's tangles. Sessions peeled layers. His Yale abandonment fueling flight reflex, my Tennessee shame mirroring. Progress slow, but seismic. Christmas neared, snow dusting evergreens. Ceremony day, cabin strung lights, fire altar. Vows exchanged simple. I choose you, shadows and all. Rings slid, sealing. Guests few but fervent. Mama tearing, daddy toasting to North's true. Virtual Sarah hooped. About damn time. Honeymoon skipped for Nashville move. Elias adjuncting remote. Us nesting in a bungalow off Belmont. Porch swing echoing Vermont's. Spring bloomed reconciliations. League tryouts. Kids wide-eyed under my whistle. Elias's classes filled anew. Pride pins boulder. Betrayal scar faded. Trust rebuilt brick by honest brick. Yet climax crested summer. Anonymous leak to local paper. Ex-football star's queer wedding. Scandal or story? Photos grainy from ceremony. Headlines sensational. Backlash hit swift. League sponsors waffling. Hate mail clogging inbox. Coach buffered. Ride it out. But doubt crept. Was this the cost of authenticity? Elias found me at dawn run, track oval empty. We pivot. Together. Hand in hand. Laps synced. Storm peaked board meeting, donors demanding my ouster. I faced them, Elias beside. Recounting raw. Closet's cage, truth's key. I'm here to coach hearts. Not hide them. Silence, then applause, progressive voices drowning old guard. Position held. Headlines shifting to hero's homecoming. Climax crested, we stood taller. Love tempered in fire. Summer's heat wave broke with thunderstorms that rattled the bungalow windows like applause for our survival. Nashville embraced us uneven. Some teammates ghosted. Others showed tentative at barbecues. Beers cracked awkward but earnest. Man, respect the balls? One muttered. Fist bump tentative. Sarah's crew folded us in. Her boyfriend Tim a quiet ally. Grilling veggies with Elias over tales of Hawthorne hikes. Life settled rhythmic. Mornings. I'd hit the field early. Dew-kissed grass under cleats. Diagramming plays for wide-eyed teens who saw past jerseys to the guy who'd bailed on a wedding for truth. Coach H, ever regret it? One asked post-drill, 14 and freckled. Eyes too old. Only hiding longer, I replied, tossing a spiral his way. Own your play, kid. World's got enough fakes. Afternoons, Elias home from adjunct gigs, virtual lit seminars drawing national crowd. His vulnerability a draw. We'd lunch on the porch, his foot hooked round my ankle, debating Austin versus Atwood over pimento cheese. Marriage plots. He'd muse, ring glinting. Ours défiait genre. Evenings unwound lazy. Drives to Percy Priest Lake, skipping stones and stories. He'd recount Yale escapades, the underground poetry slams, the lover who'd penned sonnets then ghosted for grad school. I'd counter with Tennessee truths. Daddy's mill closing. Mama's church hymns masking loneliness. Scars shared, lighter born. Fall approached, leaves turning gold like Hawthorne flashbacks fond. League season kicked, my undefeated streak drawing scouts, pro whispers but I waved off. Got my field. I told Elias over victory steak. Medium rare and juicy. This one's home. He smiled, fork midway. Proud. But. Spit it. Miss Vermont winters. Snowshoe dates. Cabin cozies. Homesick twang pulled. Visit? Holidays. Better. I sparkled. Offer came. Full prof at UVM. Tenured track. Joy spiked. Chased by tug. Nashville's roots deep. Yours, maybe. Mine's wherever you throw down. Decision brewed slow. Walks along the Cumberland hashing pros. Vermont's queer haven. Lake proximity. Cons. Uprooting again. League momentum. Christmas sealed it. Flight north. Snow-crusted Burlington greeting like old friend. Mama and Daddy tagged along, surprising. Suitcases in tow, grins conspiratorial. Figured y'all need family for the move, Mama declared, hugging Elias fierce. You're kin now, sugar. Daddy nodded at the cabin, fireside scotch in hand. Solid build. Like you, son. New Year dawned, unpacked boxes. League resignation bittersweet. Coaches send-off party rowdy. Toasts to the quarterback who called his own audible. Kids mobbed. Jerseys signed. Be true. UVM orientation buzzed. Elias introducing me as partner. Casual as weather. Colleagues warmed quick. Potlucks featuring maple pie and my cornbread. I snagged part-time coaching at a Burlington rec league. Smaller scale but same spark. Mentoring misfits into mains. Spring thawed revelations. Therapy solo now, unpacking paternal voids. Elias joined sporadic, his abandonment fears fading to footnotes. You're my constant, he'd affirm. Post-session ice cream runs to Ben and Jerry's, flavors wild as our path. Sarah visited May, Tim in tow, road trip south detoured north. Reunion at the lake, picnic blankets, laughter cascading. Look at you, she teased, elbowing Elias. Domestic bliss suits. Blame him. Thumb jerked my way. Grin fond. Tim raised a toast, craft beer foaming. To plot twists, and the guts to follow. Sun dipped, painting water rose, and I pulled her aside. Thanks. For everything. She hugged tight. No tears this time. Grew up together. Now growing apart. Beautiful. Summer solstice marked year 1. Anniversary hike up Camel's Hump. Peak views endless. Packed lunch devoured. He pulled a journal, leather-bound, pages-filled script. For you. Our story. First draft. I read aloud, voice cracking. Entries from Hawthorne days. My arrival sketched as the boy with fire in his eyes. Our kiss. World remade in a breath. Recent. Alex, my compass. North eternal. Tears blurred ink. Love you. I whispered, journal clutched talisman. Love you. Kiss salt-stung, mountain wind witness. Betrayal's echo surfaced fall. Ex-teammate Jake. Drunk dialing from Nashville. Heard you're hitched to him? Man should have said. Dad's a preacher. Would have prayed it out. Hurt flared brief. Then pity. Prayers for peace, Jake. Not closets. Hung up, Elias's arm steadying. Warriors choose battles. Winter wrap gentle. Holidays hybrid. Vermont cabin with his sister's clan. Then Tennessee flyby. Mama's tree-trimmed rainbow. Daddy carving turkey with quiet acceptance. Family evolves. He grunted, passing peas. Progress palpable. Climax revisited spring. Hawthorne alumni gala invite. Elias as keynote. Come, he asked, suit pressed. Dread nodded. Ghosts galore. Slay 'em. Wink wicked. We flew east, New England chill biting. Gala swank, ballroom crystal, ties silk. Alums mingled. Whispers hushing as Elias took podium. Literature teaches redemption. He began, voice resonant. My own. A student who taught me love syntax. No footnotes, full sentences. Eyes met mine across room. Applause swelling. Post-speech cornered by old headmaster, silvered, stern. Bold words, Grant. Past indiscretions. Lessons learned. Elias firm, hand finding mine. Love's no indiscretion. Murmurs parted as we exited. Night air crisp. Car ride silent. Then laughter bubbling. Slayed. You did. Pride swelled. Burlington reclaimed us summer. Routine deepened. Joint runs. Market halls of rhubarb and rye. Dreams surfaced. Podcast collab. True North tales. Blending lit and locker room lore. Beta episode dropped viral. Queer youth demand gratitude. You made my out possible. Humanity's thread wove tight. Fall. A kid from my league. 16, stutter shy. Confided post-practice. Coach, think I like boys. Scared. Kneel level, eyes level. Scary start. But truth? Game changer. Got a friend? Elias? He's the words guy. Linked them, coffees brewing mentorship anew. Echoes full circle. Year 2 crested solstice hike redux. Summit picnic, journal sequel gifted. My script now, his story etched. Co-author, he quipped. Forever editor. Vows renewed casual. Rings twisted reaffirm. Betrayal's ghost exorcised final. Anonymous source outed. Hawthorne rival. Grudge held over tenure snub. Letter of apology arrived. Ignored. Forgiveness internal, chains snapped. Aging graced us gentle. 30s dawned collaborative. UVM panel on queer pedagogy drawing crowds. Nashville callbacks faded, roots northern now. Tragedy touched peripheral. Elias's sister diagnosed. Battle brief but brutal. We rallied, hospice porch vigils, her hand in ours at end. Loved fierce, she whispered last. Eulogy his voice unbroken. She chose joy, we will too. Grief tempered, not tamed. Lake swims cathartic, tears mixing waves. Resolution bloomed resilient. Decades mark, cabin expanded. Loft office for podcast empire. Nursery corner hinting futures. Adoption talks tentative. 2 dads, 1 team. One eve, fire low, heads bent close. Regrets? I asked, fingers laced. None. His kiss forehead soft. You? Only wasted time. Smile shared. But that made this. Outside, snow fell silent, blanketing world anew. The groom who'd frozen long thawed. Life a banquet endless, dramatic, suspenseful. Laced love's deep vein. Human arc bent toward light. Ours intertwined, true north eternal. In the quiet, I whispered to the flames. To us, conquering all. And the fire answered warm and sure.